Hello, everyone. Welcome to Writing Time, and thanks for joining me. It's going to be a very exciting day because we finally get to start our first piece of narrative small moment writing today. So, first things first, we're going to go over some of the things that we've already done. And that one thing that we have done is we have made a small moment list, right? We've come up with a whole list of moments that we can just start writing about. And if we ever run out of ideas, we can go ahead and use this list. And you know what? I don't need to start at the top. I'm going to actually start at the bottom with this moment that happened to me recently. And I've already told one group this, and you'll hear from it, from me in person about this story. But I'm going to help you today by showing you how I'm going to plan out this one, which is called Bird in the Morning, which actually happened to me today. So, put this down. The first thing that we want to do is, if you're with someone at home, that's perfect. And I'd like you to do this with an adult. You're going to put out your fingers just like this. And we're going to start planning one of these things from your list. So go ahead and pick something. It doesn't have to be the first one. It can be any one that you want. All right, you got your idea in your head? Perfect. So now we're going to plan it out across our fingers. What happened first, second, third, fourth, and last, just so that our story is all in order and it's well planned out. So the first thing that happened for me was I parked my truck. Second thing, I walked into the building. I was walking towards the building. Number three is I forgot at this moment that I needed to lock my truck, so I went ahead and locked it. And then all of a sudden, the birds. Number four, the bird at the door, because I had a bird that kind of flew kind of funky and towards the door to the building. And the last one is that the bird ended up flying away unharmed. All right, I have my story all planned out. It's a very small moment, and this moment really only lasted about 2 minutes. But guess what? I'm going to show you guys how you can stretch out a moment that only lasted a few minutes into a nice, big, long story. All right, let's start planning out our story on paper. And at home, you should have packets just like this. I've set up my big chart paper similar to the one that you have at home. So what we're going to do first is we're actually going to write at the very top of the page just a couple of words about what's going to happen on this page. So I'm going to start off by numbering it. This is my first page, so I'm going to put a number 1. And if you have a little bit of space above your picture box, you could put it up there. I'm putting it in the picture box because I don't have enough room above it. And you don't have to write many words. Remember how we wrote down on our small moment list just a couple of words that describe the whole moment? We're going to do kind of the same thing here, except we're going to do it step by step for that one moment. So this one is just going to be parked. Because I know I'm going to start writing on this page about how I parked my truck. It's like any other normal day coming into school. The sun was bright. I could hear the birds chirping, and I can stretch it even further. In another lesson, we'll go over that of how I can stretch it further. But for this lesson, I'm just writing parked up here because I'm going to be talking about that part of my story. All right. Now we're on to the second part. So we're going to move to the second page, number 2. And the second thing that happened in my story is I started walking towards the building. So I can just write walking in. Because I'm not at the juicy part of my story just yet. Remember, we want to build a nice, great beginning and then hit them with the good stuff right when we hit about page 3 or 4. All right. And now on page 3 is the exciting part, kind of like my climax. And this one is I locked my truck. Locked truck. And I'm going to write the word birds on here so that I know to talk about what did the birds do after I locked my truck and my horn went off. Lock truck birds. Notice how these are not complete sentences because we don't want them to be complete sentences yet. This is just to help us and to remind us what are we going to be talking about on this page. And this is going to be a big, juicy page, and I can't wait to do it with you guys. All right. My fourth page. So number 4 that we talked about was the bird at the door, because actually one of these birds came out of the bush and rushed towards the door to the building like it wanted to come inside and learn from the day. So, bird at the door. And my last page is a good way to wrap up my story. And we always love stories with great endings, but sometimes they don't have great endings, but this one does. Is number 5, it flew away. And at this moment, I knew I had a great small moment story for my second graders. So, just to recap for today, you're going to be doing the same thing, but with your small moment list that you have at home in your green folder. And you're going to pick one of those moments. Plan it out first across your fingers. What happened first, second, third, fourth, and last in that story. And if you have an adult with you, near you, talk about it. How can we plan this out so it makes the most sense across the pages? Once you have that figured out, that's when you can start writing at the top of your page what happened first, second page, what happened second, and so on until your whole story is planned out on this piece of paper. And what you can do today is if you've completely planned out your story, you can start writing it using complete sentences now. And just remember, once you complete a page and you complete the thought for that page, that's when you can head to the second page and start that thought and complete that thought and continue writing. All right? So that is our mini lesson for today. I can't wait to see what you all come up with for great story ideas and for thinking about how these stories are going to be planned out. All right. Good luck, second grade. You guys got this.